All right, let's break down Logic 101, starting with the assassination. Today, Trump is doing a rally, the first rally outside, behind like a bulletproof booth. Now, this rally that was supposedly an attempt on his life definitely had some collateral damage, and innocent people were unalived and hurt. And on the logic side of this, there's a couple of things we need to look at very carefully. Number one, the injury to his ear. He was bragging about his entire ear being blown off and how the doctor said you regrow your ear faster than anyone I've ever seen, and blah, 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 blah. And he went down this whole thing on all of his Twitter feeds and all of his Truth Social, all the crap that he does to try and pretend he is superhuman. That he regrew his whole ear because he's in such amazing financial shape. Now, logically speaking, you could look at the man and you could tell he's not 214 pounds, 6'4", like he claimed to be when he was processed, arrested down in Georgia or where the other criminal stuff happened. And he's not outgrowing his ear because he's healthier than, say, Evander Holyfield, who famously had the top of his ear bitten off by Mike Tyson in the middle of a fight. He still has 100% of the little chunk taken out of his ear. So a high-powered bullet at the velocity that bullet would have been going would have shredded his ear, and it would be obvious damage. I have seen all these experts talking about how it would pass through so quickly it would seal itself back up. You watch too many movies. Going to the hospital alone, the presidential candidate would have had dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of photos taken at the hospital. They would do that to put in his medical file because they want to make sure they don't screw anything up when there's a patient that is that important. Absolutely none of the pictures were taken. The two other people that got hurt were never heard from. They weren't, here's them coming out of the hospital, these are the injuries they have, none of that. So that looks skeptical. There was never ballistics runs. He didn't demand a full-scale investigation into it. He didn't jump up and down and demand the DOJ go nuts on an investigation. I mean, Congress did their thing, so it looked. And in that hearing, in that set of hearings, you had the director of the FBI flat out saying he did not get shot in the ear. So, of course, Christopher Wray was then attacked with all this stuff that Christopher Wray supposedly did from the conspiracy theory right-wing, Alex Jones world, Jesse Waters world. So we have all of those things that just obviously aren't true. And if he had the arrogance of Donald Trump, just think of the arrogance of Donald Trump. If he had a war wound, he would be, Look at, this is where it almost, you see how close that is? See the boo-boo? That boo-boo's that close to my little brain. And if it's that close to my little brain, that shows that God saved me. He would be showing off that scab until it fell off of his ear. Then he would pick up the scab and go, does anybody remember this? 2 years past the assassination attempt. You know, when those assassination attempt sneakers fall apart. That won't be 2 years, that's probably 2 days. But anyway, there is not one bit of logic to anything having to do with that assassination attempt. Now, that is just obvious. But if you apply logic to every other damn claim this man makes, you will notice there's no logic to any of it. There's no logical basis for people to stand up and support what he's saying, because there's no logical basis that can even be misconstrued as truth in much of what he's saying. If somebody has launched 10 fundraisers in a matter of 5-7 years, 10 fundraisers, you would doubt that person's financially sound. you certainly wouldn't think he was a billionaire. If someone's got 6 casinos that they owned and went bankrupt, knowing that casinos are the only things that pretty much always win. The odds are always on the house. House always wins, all of that. His houses didn't win. So he doesn't know how to operate a casino, which should be a really good business. A mortgage company that he lost right before the bubble burst in the real estate market. An airline that literally had hundreds of people in the airplanes on multiple tarmacs ready to take off. And they were stopped from taking off. Everybody was deboarded in one day. And they took the planes off the tarmac, repossessed them like that. Trump wine. Even the steaks, water, vodka, things that there are a built-in market. No matter what, there will always be a bottled water market. Always. Failed. Vodka. Pretty big market for vodka. Failed. Steaks. Failed. Mortgage company, once again, bring up the mortgage company for a real estate stable genius. Failed. Then you have Trump University. That was such a scam. They charged $35,000 per student. And almost every single one of them joined in the class action lawsuit and sued and won. $25 million they were forced to pay. The employees of Trump University were given non-disclosure agreements like everyone else in Trump's world. And in their training manuals, they were actually taught what to do, what paperwork to destroy, what to throw away, and what's okay to give to the FBI if they ever invade the offices, which they did. In their training manuals. This is logically a good businessman. Now, Trump didn't have 10 fundraisers in the last 7 years, 8 years. He's had about 20, 30 for everything under the sun. How can you think he is a billionaire? He is selling Bibles, about 10, 12 different types of sneakers, coffee, now Trump MAGA Crunch cereal for $25 a box, as he bitches about how greedy corporations and how Joe Biden caused all the prices for everything to go up. There's no logic in any of that. And if his supporters are mad about groceries and then see his cereal box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with a different packaging for $25 a share and they don't say a word about it, they are not only hypocrites, that they are just too stupid to recognize fact. You cannot bitch about the price of groceries and be behind a man that releases a $25 box of cereal and a $60 sticky page Bible. You can't call yourself a God-fearing, God-loving Christian and be okay with someone selling their own Bible and putting the Constitution in the same book. The Bill of Rights, the words to a rewritten national anthem sung by domestic terrorists that tried to overthrow the government and basically threaten to unalive people that were duly elected. There's no logic to any of that. We need to find logic. We need to find intelligence. We need to make America think again. We need to make America kind again. We need to make America America again. So stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind. No matter what, we are all in this together, united, as we should be.